Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this tutorial video. Thank you for joining me. It is Jethro Rusuko here. So basically we'll be doing this test you wrote. Okay, yeah, it was just on market structures and production theory. So we can look at question 4. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. So we can look at question 4. It's saying explain how firms determine their profit maximizing level of output. Okay, so let's look at that. We have to understand what this question means. Okay, saying explain, so we are supposed to explain. So I told you guys that in economics, even when they don't tell you that show your graphs, you have to show them. Okay, how firms determine their profit maximizing level of output. So we want to find a certain quantity that maximizes what? Output. Okay, so I told you that there are two conditions. Number one, okay, so the marginal revenue, what's up with this? So the marginal revenue has to be equal to the what? Marginal cost. So these are this is condition number one. Okay, yeah. So what you are supposed to draw here is to draw something that looks like this. Okay, and this is 0. I told you here you are going to write cost and what? Cost and the revenue. Okay, so cost and revenue this side, and let's say you have quantity this side. Okay, so now here we are drawing a graph that is like this. So here the average, this is the average revenue, which is equal to the what? The marginal revenue. Okay, yeah, and here we have the what? The price. So you have the marginal cost, which will be like this, which will be the marginal what? The marginal cost. Let us call this point A. Let us call this point what? Point B. Okay, so between these two levels of output, okay, between these two levels of what? Output. Let's take this Q1 and this is Q what? Q2. So between Q1 and Q2, this point A and point B, which one is the profit maximizing what? Output. So have you seen this marginal cost? Where they cut here, it is that these points, they show that the marginal cost is equal to the what? Marginal revenue. Okay, so that is condition number one. The marginal cost has to be equal to the marginal what? Marginal revenue. The second point is that the marginal cost must approach the marginal revenue from below. So the marginal cost must approach the marginal revenue from what? From below. So let me show you how this is. So I'm sure you guys here, have you seen at point A here, the marginal cost is above. Pari iri pamulu iri panshi. Have you seen ka? So here the marginal cost is above the marginal what? The marginal revenue at point A. Okay, so from here it is coming downward, coming like this. So which means the marginal cost is approaching the marginal revenue from above at point A. So here FM can still, when FM continue to produce, like if here the marginal cost is what? Below. It's below, but it is what? It is falling. Okay, yeah, but here the point we want is here, where the marginal cost is approaching the marginal revenue, is approaching this line. This line is approaching what? The marginal revenue from below. And what is it doing? It is rising. Here it was falling, here it is rising. Okay, so have you seen these two conditions here? Explain how firms determine their profit maximizing level of output. That is for perfect competition. Since you cannot set your own price, in perfect competition, they are price takers. So they produce a certain level of output where the marginal revenue is equal to the marginal what? Equal to the marginal cost. And that the marginal cost must approach the marginal revenue from what? From below. When you stop at point A, you are unnecessarily foregoing somewhat profits. You can still make profit, you have just stopped. It is not the maximum point. I had taught you guys about you being a student. Sometimes the grade you can get, that is not the maximum. So like a certain graph I usually show is this one. So have you seen this? Here at this point, that is the peak. If you are rising here, you can, if you stop here, you have not reached your maximum. You can still go. You get that one? You can still go. But when you have reached here this point, can you still go further? You cannot go further. If you continue that side, you begin to what? You begin to fall. That is the maximum point. So even here, point B is the maximum point. Why? If we continue producing here, we'll be adding more to what? To marginal cost than to what? To revenue. Because the marginal cost here is above the what? The marginal revenue. So if you continue at B, the marginal cost here is greater than the marginal what? Revenue. Which means the extra output produced will add more to what? Cost. You incur more cost than you incur what? Revenue. So these are the answers I was expecting you guys to give me. They are just two. Now the marginal cost must be equal to the marginal revenue, and that the marginal cost must approach the marginal revenue from what? From below, and it must be what? It must be rising. So that is it, guys. There is that's the answer for this question. Okay. So if you have got any questions on question 4, yeah, you can just reach out, guys. Yeah, so that is it. Yeah, thank you very much.